Hey guys, it's Nicholas here from upgrade2life.com, and in this video we are going to talk about states, infinite states. And I make the bold claim that when you understand this, when you understand what states mean, how it works, and how it can shift into different states, that this will change the way you view your life. It will change the way you approach life and your goals and your the things that you want to achieve. So this is very, very powerful. I want you to stick till the end because this will be a very eye-opening video for those of you who are not so familiar with this states topic. But if you've heard this before in some of Neville's lectures and somewhere online, but you didn't know what a state is, how you can shift into another state, and why it is beneficial to do this consciously, this video is for you. So with that, let's jump into it. So first of all, let's talk about what does state mean, and what is a state? So before I explain it to you, it is very simple. Again, my aim is to make Neville's teachings very simple, to teach them to you in a way that you can easily apply them, easily see changes in your life, see changes within yourself, and achieve your goals. Right? That is my aim. So in the beginning, state is very, very simple. So what does it mean? Like Neville said, a state is an attitude of mind, a state of experience with a body of beliefs which you live by. Always expressing a state, you identify yourself with it by saying, I am poor, I am rich, I am known or I am unknown, I am wanted or I am unwanted. So a state is like a body of beliefs and thoughts and actually automatic experiences that you have in your life. Like a state of being. Other words for state are actually self-concept, role. You can also talk about a state like a role. Or your state of being, your identity. Right? The core. It's really like the state is it's like the most fundamental thing you can shift in your life. Because when you shift your identity, when you shift at the core, when you shift who you say and who you claim yourself to be. Like Neville said, for example, I'm poor, I'm rich. Or known or unknown and stuff like that. Therefore, you will have a different life experience. But don't worry, I will go in way more detail in this video. So, when I speak of states, I am speaking of states of consciousness, attitudes of mind, which create a body of belief. Right? It is a state of consciousness, a certain state that you are identified with. And as you see in the title of this video, there are infinite states. So it's just an attitude, it's just like this general body of assumptions, beliefs, attitudes, thoughts, everything like that. That is a state, okay? So a change of circumstance happens as a result of a change in your state of consciousness. That's crucial. I explain this in nearly all of my videos, that our state, our identity, our self-concept, that this is the core. And in the beginning, I also said this to myself, but I didn't really 100% grasped it or believed it, right? But the more and more I explained it to you guys, the more and more I actually applied it for my own life, I saw and experienced that this is truly the only thing we need to worry about. But I will introduce you more into this in this video, so stick with me. So how does life actually works? So we have to understand that our true self, right, which Neville refers to as I am, consciousness, awareness, imagination, that this is our true self, which means that we are this consciousness, so to say, moves through different states. Okay, if this sounds too complicated to you, don't worry, just stick with me. Okay, but just for now, let's let it stay like that. That you are more than your senses are telling you. Because when you have the capacity to watch your thoughts, to watch your sensations, your emotions, then there is something way deeper than this. Ask yourself what is aware of your thoughts and emotions. And you can dive deeper into this through self-inquiry meditations or stuff like that. But if this is too deep for you right now, then that's totally okay, because this is not what this video is about, like this deeper aspect, okay? So when you know that your true self is this unlimited, unfazed, formless, infinite consciousness, then you know that there are like states of consciousness, different states, right? Your self-concept, and that is who you imagine yourself to be. And because you know that your imagination, your consciousness is infinite, you can imagine yourself to be like rich, to be like poor. You can step into this role, into this state, into this concept of, yeah, of course I have a lot of money, for example, right? It's very like basic stuff when I talk about money all the time, but just to get the point across. Okay, that is a state of consciousness, a certain state. And important for you to realize is that there are infinite states. Okay, there is not only one state. Imagine that you're born and there's only one state or one self-concept. For example, I am poor. And then your whole life you experience being poor. But that's not how life works. You can shift into another state. You can change or shift your self-concept, and therefore, here comes the point, therefore, change your life experience. Because what appears in the physical world is always like the effect of what you do within yourself. So it's always the cause is always your state. The cause is always your self-concept, the state that you occupy, the state of consciousness that you are in, and therefore the effect is what you experience, but not the other way around. So many people, they make the mistakes, they have like the life experience, for example, something that they currently don't like, and they look at it and they say, oh, like this is how it currently is. This is very bad. My goal is not here. I am not the person that I already want to be. And they say, this is how it is. But they forget, first of all, that what they experience is like a result of their internal world, as within, so without. And they also forget that they can change this by first changing what's going on within. But because they look always here, it's like the cycle, right? They look what is happening here. They say, oh, like now it's bad. Boom, again in the state of it's bad. Then manifests more of it's bad. And this is like this endless cycle. So we want to practice cycle with the realization, and that is like the most important realization that you can have in your life, in my experience, is that the world is the mirror, magnifying all that I am conscious of being. Stop trying to change the world, since it is only the mirror. Man's attempt to change the world by force is as fruitless as breaking a mirror in the hope of changing his face. So leave the mirror and change your face. Leave the world alone and change your conception of yourself. The reflection then will be satisfactory. You got this, right? So what you experience here is always and all the time, constantly, 24 hours, mirroring back to you your internal state, your state of consciousness. So in the law of attraction kind of realm, people talk of vibration, right? Obviously, we are like law of assumption people. So in my opinion, this has nothing to do with vibration. I cannot identify myself with this vibration stuff. But the point that they try to bring across is actually the same, that your world mirrors back to your vibration. But with that kind of explanation, for me, it is easier to understand. Because I can imagine myself, for example, being wealthy, being happy, being secure, being confident, being loved, being wanted, being healthy, whatever it may be. And therefore know that the more and more I do this, the more and more I shift into this state. And when I know that my world mirrors back to me, my internal kind of state, like I know what to do, so to say. I know how it works. I don't need to worry about shifting my vibration and all of this crazy stuff, okay? So do whatever you want, but this in one picture is actually how, like how reality works. And this is like, it took me a long time to figure that out, and here you have it in one video. So this is very powerful. So realize that you are not bound to one state, that the state that you're currently in, if you don't like it, is not set in stone. And it doesn't matter if you moved into this state consciously or unconsciously, by now you know when you become more conscious, right? When you become more of your true self, when you identify more with your true self, that you can step into any state that you want. And like yogis or people who go like very deep into this, they're not even interested in identifying themselves with a state. They're only interested in like being here. But we don't have this, and we don't have to be all the time here, right? It is just important for you to know that you don't identify yourself with like unwanted states, unwanted self-concepts and stuff like that. Because that is not you. You are free to occupy a new one, and therefore, but when you occupy a new state, therefore, getting something else reflected back to you from the world, from your life, and manifest other stuff in your life. And this is truly, truly life-changing when I understood this. So now the question is how to actually shift into a new state. Okay, how to actually shift from being, I don't know, like unfamous to famous, or not wanted to wanted, or not liked to be liked. Whatever it is in your case, everyone has different like goals, desires, things that they want to achieve. So I really can't tell you what is wrong or right for you. But the question is, how do we shift? So, like Neville said, leave the state containing poverty and move into the state containing wealth. And wealth will take on reality. This room has reality and substance because you are thinking from it. Think of a room, however, and it is but a shadow. Think of a state, and it seems a mere possibility. But enter it by thinking from the state, and it is the only reality. And that's, by the way, what thinking from is, or living in the end, is nearly the same. So when you think from that new state, from already being what you want to be, from already having what you want to have. But it sounds simpler than it is. It takes practice. It takes some like conscious quote-unquote efforts. Right? You need to consciously do this. You cannot just slip out of it and say, oh, it don't work. No, you have to practice this. But this is how it works. When you enter this new state and you think from this new state, by asking yourself, how would I view the world right now if I'm already X, Y, Z? How would I view the world as if this is already true? Right? You start to feel, you start to see the world differently. You start to really like, experience your life in a whole nother way, because you shifted your state. You shifted into a new state of consciousness. And again, there are infinite states. Neville said creation is finished. I will also soon make a video on that, on creation is finished, which means that every possible state, every possible like configuration, every possibility already exists, and you choose where you place your awareness on. You choose what you imagine, and therefore what you experience in your life. So from now on, I encourage you to do this more consciously and to apply this law consciously. And that's, by the way, what the law of assumption is about. That you assume another state. That you assume that you already that what you want to be. That is the law of assumption. So think of the world as containing an infinite number of state of consciousness from which it could be viewed. Think of these states as rooms or mansions with infinite plots and traumas and situations already worked out, but not activated. They're activated as soon as human imagination enters and fuses with them. So do you get this? Right? Just think of states or your self-concept or roles. Just think of all of this like rooms in an infinite house, which has infinite rooms. And you choose in which room you go. Right? You choose whatever it is that you want to identify yourself with, and therefore everything else actually happens automatically. This is the fun part of this. This is the good news. That all the, like Neville said, all the plots and dramas and situations, they already exist. Why they're not visible and experiential for our human senses, which is good because our brain wouldn't like, we would just we can't deal with all of this stuff, right? But our imagination can. Our imagination sees all of them at the same time, and we can enter and fuse with them at any given moment of time. There is no time to wait. There is no requirement. You actually don't have to heal an inner child. Nothing like that actually matters when you understand this, and when you have this like experience of reality, when you understand this really, then you just shift into a new state where you are this completely whole new person. By the way, if you want to find out more about this, I highly recommend you check out my free masterclass. In there, I explain to you how you shift into this 2.0 version of yourself and everything that has something to do with that. So check it out. It's free. It's 60 minutes long. Commit yourself to watch it till the end. So back to this video. Infinite states, you choose which state you occupy, and therefore you choose what you experience in your life and what manifestations show up. And that's how easy it is, guys. Right? It is okay. It is not always easy, right? Obviously not. But that's how it works. So start to understand this, start to apply this, start to read more about this. Neville has a lot of lectures, for example, Many Mansions, or also other ones in which he touches more based on that. But I tried to summarize everything in this video. Okay, so a state is nothing more than this general body of assumptions, beliefs, thoughts, everything like that, and imagined activities. And when you change it, when you shift into another state, you therefore experience different results in your life. So that's what it is and how it works. So health, wealth, beauty, and genius are not created. They're only manifested by the arrangement of your mind. That is, by your concept of yourself. And your concept of yourself is all that you accept and consent to as true. Right? So your assumptions of yourself. Right? So when you're currently not healthy, then that's just a state. You can shift into the state of being wealthy. When you're currently not wealthy, or you have like very low income, stuff like that, you can shift into a state where you have more financial resources. The same goes for any other aspect of your life. So it is just as easy to possess the consciousness of having your desire as it is to possess the consciousness of not having it. Get the consciousness first, and the thing is compelled to appear. That's one of my favorite quotes. Because really, it's really true. It is just as easy as being in a state of not having your desire as it is to be in a state of having it. Because both exist, both are there, both just wait for you to step into them. Right? The states, they don't worry if you occupy them. Right? The mirror, so to say, what life mirrors back to you, this is like unbiased, unfazed. It doesn't care if you call yourself rich or poor, famous or unfamous, healthy or unhealthy. It doesn't care. It has no agenda on its own. That's why it's so crucial to be conscious, to be aware, and to only choose what you really want to experience. Because if you're unaware, then yes, it can happen that you experience not so lovely stuff in your life. So I urge you to use your wonderful creative power and deliberately move into the state of your choice. Make it now by occupying the state long enough so it feels natural, which is the key. We want to make it feel natural. So haven't you had a suite of clothes that you felt new, so new you were conscious of them every moment? I know when I bought my first suit, I walked down Fifth Avenue thinking everyone I passed knew my suit was new. People passing paid no attention to me, but I was so aware, so conscious of my new suit. That's exactly what happens when you move into a new state. If the state of affluence is new, you think everyone knows it, but no one knows or cares whether you are rich or poor. So walk in the state until it becomes natural. The moment the feeling is natural, wealth is yours. So Neville a lot of time talks about this example of wealth, but do not limit yourself only to wealth. Obviously, that's like a crucial thing for most people, but it does not mean that you only apply this for wealth. You apply this for all areas of your life. And like Neville said, when you first shift into this new state, then it will feel unnatural. You will think this is not you, this is uncommon, this is not true. Your ego will come up and say, no, this is not how it works, and all of this stuff. So you have to stay aware, you have to not fall for this trap, and you have to realize that the more you identify yourself with this new state, the more you imagine yourself to be already this new person and assume it, the more and more this new state becomes natural, and the more and more you will see proof of that, the more and more you will experience that you are this now wealthy person or healthy person, whatever it may be. Okay? So by now you know there are infinite states. You choose which state you occupy in your imagination when you consciously focus and put your attention on this state and assume that you're already it, and that your world mirrors back to you your state. So you don't have to fight with something on the outside. Basically, you don't have to fight with anyone or anything. You change within first. So with this image, I want to conclude this video. Right now, choose which state you occupy. There are infinite states. Everything is actually waiting for you to occupy it. It is already done. In your imagination, you can experience it. So what are you waiting for? Right? Occupy the states that you want and experience more of that in your life. So with that, I conclude this video. Thank you very much for watching. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if this helped you, if by now you have a clear understanding or a better understanding on what states are, how to change your state, and leave me also your key takeaways from this video. I love to hear that, and I'm going to talk to you in the next video. See you guys. Bye.